what if we get divorced? This is one that I hate to hear because I want you to focus on building a strong marriage today, not planning for failure. If you are setting up your finances prepared for divorce, you're starting your marriage with one foot out the door already. Welcome to Money and Marriage Made Simple, the show for couples who want to get on the same page financially and strengthen their relationship along the way. I'm your host, Tina Bunn, a financial coach and wife who knows what it's like to feel the stress of money in marriage. My husband and I paid off over $50,000 in debt, and it completely transformed our relationship and our lives. Every other week, I'll bring you practical tips, real conversations, and simple strategies to help you take control of your money together, one small step at a time. Let's jump in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Money and Marriage Made Simple. Today, we're talking about the big question that every couple faces. Should we combine our money? I've heard this time and time again, and today's day and age, a lot of people want that independence. They want to have their own money. So by the end of the episode, you'll know exactly why I believe combining finances strengthens your marriage and how to do it the right way. When you get married, you become a team. You become one. You have shared dreams, you have shared goals, you share everything in your life. You share a bed, you make a human. And on top of that, statistics show that couples who combine finances report a higher relationship satisfaction. When you have complete financial transparency in your relationship, it builds a higher level of trust and it prevents any secrets. You're not going to be tempted to potentially hide spending from your spouse. But if things are separate, then there's always that temptation. And there just may be a little bit of that barrier of trust. Having everything combined makes budgeting, saving for goals, and planning much simpler. And honestly, it's more fun. It's more fun to do it together. And I hear so many people ask, but what about my independence? It's not about losing independence. It's about gaining a teammate with your money. And P.S., if you want to be independent, then don't get married. Because marriage means you are one with your spouse with everything, including money. So here's my big rule on when to actually combine your finances. Number one rule, combine it when you get married, when you are legally married and not before. Waiting until you're legally married protects both of you. If for some reason you break up and you don't end up getting married, splitting things is extremely complicated. Not necessarily if you just have a bank account together, but think about if you own a home and you really dive in like that. It's just better to have things separate until you're officially legally married. However, after being married, many states are 50-50 states, and you are entitled to half of what your spouse has in the event of a divorce, regardless of what account it's in. So keeping your finances separate is not necessarily protecting you in any way. Now, I do have some exceptions to the combining finances rule. If there's any addiction, abuse, major debt deception, financial abuse, if you're feeling controlled by your spouse with your finances, that's an exception. Have a separate account so that you can protect yourself, because you need to protect yourself and you can't trust your spouse in that situation. So there are those exceptions for sure. But with a normal, healthy marriage, you need to combine your finances because you are one. So let's talk about some common fears that people have and how you should address these different fears. I've heard, what if my spouse is a spender and I'm a saver? My spouse spends all our money. What do I do? This is exactly why you should combine your finances. Having things combined, including your accounts, your budget, everything, is going to force those financial conversations a bit more. And you're going to work on having healthy money talks so that you can learn to work together as a team. Having things separate is not going to fix that. So what if we have different income levels? It's not about who makes more. It's about working together toward shared goals. My husband was the only income earner for a long time in our marriage because I was a stay-at-home mom. Does that mean that I don't get any money, that he gets to control all the money? No, we are one. It is our money. It is our income, and we use it together for our life. So the income doesn't matter. I don't care if one of you makes 40,000, one makes 200,000. I don't care if one of you makes 100,000 and one makes nothing. Combine everything. It is all your money together. The other one I get a lot is, what about personal spending money? I want to be able to spend some money and not have to feel judged by my spouse. I don't want to have to feel judged by my husband, my wife. I want to be able to spend without any worrying about talking to them or anything like that. Absolutely. What I do is I budget for individual fun money. So each of us have a line item in the budget that we can just spend. It can be anywhere from $20 if you're working on saving, paying off debt, things like that, all the way up to, a couple $100. If you've got extra money to spend, you can assign however much you want to that. And then you get to spend it however you want and not have to worry about checking with your wife or your husband and seeing if they're okay with that purchase. And you should be talking together. You're not getting permission. You're just discussing it. And the last one I hear is, what if we get divorced? This is one that I hate to hear because I want you to focus on building a strong marriage today, not planning for failure. If you are setting up your finances prepared for divorce, you're starting your marriage with one foot out the door already. This is not how you want to approach your marriage. You should be all in, 100%, jump in with both feet, and that includes combining everything with your money. All right, let's talk about practical steps on how to actually go about doing this. A lot of people just don't know. What do I just throw everything together and just go for it? Sort of, yeah, but let's talk about it. Step 1, I want you to have full financial disclosure. That means lay everything out on the table, your assets, your debts, your income, your expenses, anything. I don't care how good or bad it is. Lay it all out there. If you've got credit cards and collections, that's fine. Lay it out. You both need to know exactly where everything is. That's where you need to start. Step 2, choose your banking structure. So you should have a joint checking and savings account. And if you want to keep a personal account for your spending money, maybe say you have $100 of spending money each month that you allow for each other, that you sign to each other, you can transfer that $100 from your joint checking account into your personal account. That's your fun money. Go for it. If you want to do that, honestly, I don't even do that. We have one account for everything that income comes in and expenses go out. We just know that tracking it in our budget, this is our spending money. So we don't really worry about it as long as it's tracked in the budget. Step 3, create your first combined budget together. You guys probably know by now that the budget is the foundation of everything. So you should have a budget. And I want you to create that budget together, decide on the different categories and line items together, and then check in regularly to make sure that you're on the same page with your budget all the time. And again, don't forget, if you want that fun money that you want for each of you, put that in the budget. All right, step 4, decide who handles what. Each of us have different strengths and weaknesses, and typically there's one person who wants to, or maybe logistically, they're the one who manages everything, pays all the bills, manages the checking account and the budgets and things like that. Maybe there's one of you that is more into the investing and stuff like that. So maybe you're in charge of the investing. In our situation, that's my husband. My husband is more into the investing. I'm not so much. I'm more into the budget. So I manage the budget. I pay all the bills. I talk through this stuff with him so that he is on the same page, but we kind of have our different jobs. Now, the important thing with this is to make sure that you still talk about it. Even though you have your different jobs, you have your different things that you handle, you need to still talk to each other and keep that line of communication open so that you're not moving in different directions. All right, here's your homework for the next couple of weeks. This week, I want you to have the financial disclosure conversation. If you haven't done that already, I want you to get together, lay it all out there, and talk to each other about every little thing. Next week, go ahead and research those bank accounts. Look at the different options. Do you want to switch banks completely? Do you want to just use one of your accounts and add the other's name on that? However that's going to work best for you in your individual situation. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as in the end you have a joint bank account together. Now, by the next episode, I want you to have your joint accounts set up and funds transferred, everything transferred over to the new account, and make sure that you're all in it and ready to go. Bonus, if you schedule weekly 15-minute money check-ins, this will help you stay on the same page, not just through this transition, but through your whole marriage. It is so important to have this regular intentional check-in so that you guys don't end up getting lost and moving in different directions. So as a recap, combining finances means you will be a stronger team, you will have better communication, and you will be able to share in that success that you have together. Reminder, this is not about control of the money. It's not about who has control. It's about jumping in together as a team. You're a partnership. You are one. It's not about who controls the money. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed with combining your finances, I know a lot of people do get overwhelmed with this. That's okay. That's totally normal. Maybe you just need someone to walk you through it and be there as that accountability partner and as that third party that is not biased. I am opening up 2 private coaching spots. So I offer free 45-minute discovery sessions where we can talk through your specific situation, create a plan that works for you and your marriage, your specific life. You can find the link in the show notes and go ahead and schedule that. I'll be opening up, like I said, just 2 spots. So make sure if you want to jump in on that, get that discovery session scheduled. All right, that's all for today. Join me on the next episode, how to create shared goals. That's what we will be talking about in 2 weeks. And thank you so much for being here again. If you loved this show, if you learned something and found this valuable, I'd be so grateful if you would review and share the show with somebody, follow it. That helps me get this going. This is a brand new show and I appreciate all the support that I can get. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for joining me today on Money and Marriage Made Simple. If you found this episode helpful, you'll love my essential money checklist for couples. You can grab that for free on the link in the show notes. Episodes will drop every other week, so be sure to follow the show so you never miss a new one. For more tips and encouragement between episodes, come hang out with me on Instagram at Finances Without Fear. I'm cheering you on as you simplify your money and strengthen your marriage, one small step at a time.